Severe weather season is upon us. We introduce you to the teams and technology that work to keep you safe. Learning from the past, examining the 2020 derecho and using new technology to better predict the unthinkable. A changing climate, experts weigh in on evolving patterns and what they mean for severe weather in Iowa. A really bad night, a look back at a Holy Thursday many in Iowa City won't ever forget. The KCRG-TV9 First Alert Storm Team Severe Weather Special starts now. Thanks for joining us. Severe weather is something we're all familiar with as part of life here in eastern Iowa.
Thunderstorms producing large hail, damaging winds, flash flooding, and tornadoes all play a part. But severe weather isn't just confined to the traditional spring and summer months. You just have to look back to December 15th of last year when a derecho moved across the state and we saw the largest tornado outbreak in Iowa's history.
And already this year, we saw the deadly EF4 tornado that tore across central Iowa, devastated communities like Winterset, Norwalk, killing 7 people. And just 48 hours ago, with several reports of tornadoes touching down in north central Iowa, damaging homes and other buildings. Forecasting and tracking severe weather is a complicated process involving lots of technology and data analysis.
But it also involves something as simple as releasing a balloon.
Oh yeah, we're in for a fun morning.
Well before dawn, meteorologists at the National Weather Service in Davenport prepared to launch a balloon into the sky.
How big is this thing gonna get? It'll get about, think about from here to about here usually. So it'll be pretty massive. Get your phone out and ready for pictures.
This isn't your typical balloon. It's carrying instruments to measure conditions in the atmosphere and then transmit that data back to meteorologists to evaluate, to see if conditions are favorable for severe weather. The balloon will grow to the size of an SUV as it climbs into the part of the atmosphere called the stratosphere.
Right. Yeah, here you go. Ready? Hang on. Come on out. All right, whenever you're ready.
All right, let me go.
Go. There she goes. Look how much it carried off right after. And now she'll keep flying now for the next probably about an hour and a half or so. She'll pop about 115,000 feet up, and then she'll come right back down to the earth, probably somewhere near the Chicago Metro at this point, if my winds are correct this morning.
Also monitoring the data are meteorologists at the Storm Prediction Center in Norman, Oklahoma. They're responsible for monitoring severe weather potential across the entire country. Preparing for severe weather is a process that starts several days before an event.
It begins here at the SPC with knowing what the expectations are for a particular day. We've been discussing it in our severe weather outlooks for a few days at that point.
As the risk of severe weather gets closer, forecasters at the Storm Prediction Center tap into a host of tools to help predict when and where storms might develop.
We're looking at observational data, radar, satellite, surface and upper air observations, and of course numerical guidance, the models that give us a sense of how the atmosphere is going to evolve.
It's at this point, hours before storms form, that the Storm Prediction Center might issue a severe thunderstorm or tornado watch. This means conditions are favorable for the development of severe weather.
Once the lead forecaster here at the Storm Prediction Center decides to issue a watch, he will draw the area up using software, and that's very quick. It can be done in a minute or so. We'll then get on the phone with all of the affected local National Weather Service offices, discuss the type of watch, tornado versus severe thunderstorm, how long it should be in effect, counties that we think should be covered by the watch. And then once we reach agreement, the lead forecaster spends about 5 minutes typing some of the basic components of the watch and then hits the transmit button. And within seconds, literally, it's available for everyone to see.
From there, local National Weather Service offices take the lead. Here in eastern Iowa, we're covered by 3 National Weather Service offices in La Crosse, Des Moines, and the Quad Cities. As storms develop or move into their service area, meteorologists watch the storms for signs of trouble by looking at 3 items: the overall environment, real-time radar data, and storm reports coming in from officials and trained storm spotters.
We use those 3 elements to put everything together, and typically if we have 2 of those 3 factors in our favor, we're going to issue a warning.
And once meteorologists decide a storm has reached severe levels, it takes less than a minute in some cases just a few seconds, for a warning to be issued. That warning will then get sent to the public using tools like weather radios, outdoor warning sirens, and local media.
I'm meteorologist Corey Thompson in the TV9 First Alert Weather Lab.
And that's when seconds matter. You need to take action and head to your safe place.
But really what it comes down to, when the storm is approaching a given area, people have to act.
The work doesn't stop for meteorologists and researchers after the skies clear. You've likely heard of the enhanced Fujita scale. It's used to measure the strength of a tornado, and that's partially done by looking at the damage. That post-storm analysis also helps us better understand severe weather and how people get their information and react when watches and warnings are issued.
That's valuable information in the whole warning process as we continually try to work to make things better and have more effective warnings and messaging.
You can learn more about the storm survey process on the KCRG-TV9 Smart TV app. August 10th, 2020, the day the historic derecho struck Iowa. It's a date many of us will never forget. Coming up, learn how researchers are using that storm and new technology to better predict severe weather.
And Iowa's climate is changing. We talk to experts about what that means for our weather and what we might see in the future. The August 2020 derecho caught us all off guard. The intensity, something never seen before in recorded history.
Storms were in the forecast, and even as they closed in and turned severe, no one knew just how strong they were going to be. Meteorologist Hannah Messier explains how researchers are looking back at that data and combining it with new technology to improve forecasting extreme weather.
The sights and sounds from Monday, August 10th, 2020, and the days that followed will forever be etched into the collective memory of Iowans. The warnings.
Now these storms, again, very, very intense. I want you to treat these like a tornado warning, even though they are not under a tornado warning. They could cause significant damage in a way that we haven't seen in eastern Iowa for a while.
The winds. The damage. And the neighbors coming together to clean up following the devastation.
How could we be so lucky? How could we be so blessed, to have that kind of help show up just when we needed it?
The deadly derecho that tore across the state was the costliest severe thunderstorm to strike the U.S. to date, causing more than $11 billion damage.
Nothing's ever been that bad around here. I mean, there's been other straight line winds before that's blew bends over and stuff, but nothing like that here.
While there were thunderstorm warnings that day, no one was prepared for the ferocity of the storm until it was on top of them.
From the stories I've heard, it is a miracle that there weren't more people killed in Iowa that day.
Just under 2 years ago, the 2020 derecho blew through the Midwest, leaving a path of destruction from Nebraska to Indiana. Now, Iowa State researchers are looking back, studying the destructive storm so Iowans can be better prepared for future derechos.
Let's say you have some models that show nothing is going to happen on Monday, and then you have this model that is basically predicting something you've never seen, so strong come through the state of Iowa. What do you tell the public in a case like that?
That's the answer Iowa State University researchers are looking to answer, using the real-life conditions that caused Iowa's derecho, so forecasters can see it sooner next time.
It was very poorly predicted by most of our computer models. The human weather forecasters, the people at your station, at the National Weather Service, really rely on the computer models. And even the night before the derecho hit, the computer models, most of them did not show any strong thunderstorms happening in Iowa on that Monday.
Dr. Bill Gallus says understanding what models missed will help improve new forecasting models and meteorologists predicting severe weather outbreaks. So he's using new technology to look at the past in an effort to better prepare for the future.
So I am looking at how that brand new model forecasted the August 10th, 2020 derecho.
Currently, there are a handful of U.S. computer forecast models available to meteorologists. Dr. Gallus says the new model could eventually replace the existing model.
In the United States, we run at the moment at least 3 or 4 different forecast models. So we have to have huge teams of people, and we're kind of splitting the brain power among these different models. So by switching to this new FV3 model, it should help us to really improve how we forecast the weather with computers.
The ultimate goal is to give everyone more time to prepare for dangerous severe weather situations in an effort to keep people safe.
It is well known that derechos, despite the fact that they're very impressive thunderstorm systems that can cause lots of damage, they are especially hard to predict. So the more we learn about why it happened, the more we might be able to do a better job of forecasting a derecho like this one, even several days ahead of time in the future.
In Ames, Hannah Messier, KCRG-TV9, First Alert Weather.
Events like the August 2020 derecho might become more common as our climate changes.
It's a fact. Iowa's climate is changing. Meteorologist Jan Reichard talked to experts about what that means for severe weather in the future.
If we look at the trends and we look at the climatology of where we're moving, the environment in which severe weather can form, those days are increasing.
Our climate is changing. Scientists and researchers don't question that fact. Dr. William Gallis from Iowa State University explains that has impacts for Iowa's traditional severe weather season, spring and summer.
Parts of the year that we're not used to seeing tornadoes, we'll likely see more tornadoes. Meanwhile, the summer months might actually calm down a bit in the number of tornadoes.
State climatologist Justin Glisson points to an event last year, 10 days before Christmas, as an example.
We mentioned the December 15th outbreak. We're talking about a tornado outbreak in December, in the middle of one of the coldest months of the year for the state. So we're seeing the boundaries historically in which we haven't seen severe weather, we're starting to see severe weather events form. Not to mention a serial derecho in December, the first serial derecho, or derecho in general, that we've recorded in the United States in history in December.
It's not just the time of year that's changing. Researchers say with climate change, we'll likely see stronger severe weather when it happens, but fewer days when we'll actually see it.
We've seen a decrease in those, but we've seen an increase in days in which we see tornado outbreaks. So multiple tornadoes, 15, 20, 30. You look at the December 15th event of 2021, 63 tornadoes on December 15th. The highest tornado outbreak for the state of Iowa for any month, and also the largest tornado outbreak for December in United States history. So climatologically, we're seeing less individual tornadoes, but we're seeing more tornado outbreaks.
That means possibly fewer days with severe weather, but on days with severe weather, we're more likely to see outbreaks that are more extreme.
As the climate is warming, the warmer air with more humidity supplies more energy for the thunderstorms to use. When the conditions come together right, we will have bigger outbreak days, worse outbreak days, where we have maybe more tornadoes on a single day, more strong tornadoes.
Climate models not only show more tornado outbreaks and stronger tornadoes, they also project increases in other forms of severe weather, such as derechos, like what we saw in August 2020. Like the deadly flash flood hitting Des Moines in July 2018. And river flooding, like we've experienced in 2008 and 2016 here in East Central Iowa.
The extremes are becoming more extreme. Our wetter wets, drier dries, warmer warms, and colder colds.
Climate change is also changing the concept of Tornado Alley, parts of the Great Plains in the Midwest where we most often see the ingredients come together to form tornadoes. Data is now showing a shift to where we're seeing tornadoes in the U.S. into an area called Dixie Alley.
We're seeing severe weather form further north, but also further east. So we're seeing the axis of where we would expect tornadoes to form shift further east. So that's where we see Dixie Alley becoming a hot spot in terms of recent tornado outbreaks.
As we've seen in devastating outbreaks like the one that hit Alabama in 2011, killing more than 250. And more recently, the long track tornado that tore through Arkansas and Kentucky that killed 57 people last December. Experts say we're likely to see deadly events in Dixie Alley in part because of the types of homes there.
The problem is in the United States, there's far more people that live further to the east, and so this is a huge problem. In addition, the percentage of people that live in manufactured homes that are more susceptible to damage from tornadoes is very large in the area that we call Dixie Alley for tornadoes.
As the climate changes here in Iowa, we might see fewer severe weather days, but larger, more powerful events when they do happen. In the Weather Lab, meteorologist Jan Reichard, KCRG-TV9, First Alert Weather.
While we're facing more extreme severe weather in the future, Iowans are no stranger to Mother Nature's fury.
This week marks the anniversary of the Iowa City tornado. Coming up, we'll look back at that night many people won't ever forget. August 10th, 2020, the derecho. June 13th, 2008, the day the Cedar River crested in Cedar Rapids during historical flooding. May 25th, 2008, the Parkersburg, Iowa tornado.
These are days etched in the collective memory of Iowans because of severe weather. April 13th, 2006 is a day many people in Iowa City won't soon forget. Meteorologist Corey Thompson looks back at the Iowa City tornado.
That morning of Holy Thursday, I noticed something. Everything seemed very close. It was very humid, and the atmosphere felt different than normal.
April 13th of 2006 was a warm Thursday in Iowa City. Sunny skies, record warmth, and increasing humidity. The atmosphere was primed for severe weather. As the evening progressed, the risk increased, prompting a severe thunderstorm watch. Dangerous storms developed in central Iowa and headed east, as many were gathering for Holy Thursday services. Cheryl Schropp was among those gathered at St. Patrick Catholic Church in Iowa City.
We were at Holy Thursday Mass at St. Pat's Church. First Communion class had just sung a song. Mass was over. Several of us were speaking to one another in the entryway of the church.
At the same time, radar showed trouble heading into Iowa City.
Back to southern Johnson County, that's kind of an area of concern. That's where there's some rotation and potentially a tornado.
Shortly before 8:30, a tornado with winds of 155 miles per hour touched down in southwest Iowa City.
Deacon Jerry Miller came up to me and said that he had heard the sirens. For some reason, I thought, well, we better take this seriously.
And Father Rudy came out and told all of us that we were in danger and that we needed to go to the rectory basement.
There was a report that the tornado a funnel had been spotted.
We're getting information from the Weather Service of a possible tornado on the ground in Iowa City near a Walmart.
Okay, I'm told there's a lot of damage on Riverside Drive in Iowa City. For example, a semi overturned. They made a call to police, and Menards has 2 people with injuries because at least a portion of the roof collapsed.
The tornado was headed towards St. Patrick's.
And so I went downstairs to the basement, and not 10 minutes later, we heard that people always describe as that roar of what it seemed like a freight train.
This was a particularly bad night because with this week that is observed by Christians not only in eastern Iowa but throughout the world, a lot of gatherings going on and a lot of people clustered around in certain areas. So this is not the best night this could have happened to us, but happen it did.
The tornado tore a path of destruction, causing extensive damage at College Green Park. And at the nearby Alpha Chi Omega sorority house, more than 30 people were inside as the tornado ripped off much of the roof. Homes and apartments along Iowa Avenue were some of the last areas hit by the tornado before it lifted near Hickory Hill Park. At St. Patrick's, parishioners got their first glimpse of their destroyed building.
I could see sky through the roof of the church, what was left of the roof of the church, and the spire was gone, and the tower was gone. It fallen into the second floor of the rectory. 25 minutes before that, there had been people underneath the music loft, the balcony, the choir loft, and they could have been seriously injured, if not killed.
The storm hurt 30 people in Johnson County. One person in neighboring Muscatine County was killed. More than 1,000 buildings in Johnson County were damaged, including St. Patrick's.
We're still all very sad of the destruction. And Father Rudy, because it was the Triduum and Holy Week, just kept saying, Sundays are coming, Sundays are coming. So because he kept saying that, someone presented this brick to him on Easter Sunday, a few days later, that says, Sunday's coming. and this brick is from the rubble of the old church.
After worshiping in temporary locations, the new St. Patrick Church opened in November 2009.
It felt like a long and a short route to get there. Things happened that I can only account to give credit to the providence of God.
To know that this all happened because of devastation, but God has his own plans, and who are we to question?
Taking steps before severe weather hits can go a long way to help keep you and your family safe.
Coming up, we'll go over things you can do now before storms head your way. Severe weather is an unavoidable part of living in Iowa, but a phrase we tell students during school talks is, don't be scared, be prepared.
Taking steps now can go a long way to help keep you and your family safe when severe weather threatens.
Know the difference between a watch and a warning. A watch means severe weather could happen. A warning means it is happening. Have several ways to receive information. Weather radios are a great tool and will sound an alarm when dangerous weather is impacting your community. Identify where you'll seek shelter at home, at the office, and while you're out and about if dangerous weather moves in. And pay attention if severe weather is in the forecast. Storms can quickly turn severe when they develop. You can find more information on severe weather safety on our website at KCRG.com.
The First Alert Storm Team is ready to track severe weather anytime. Thanks for joining us.
You can find exclusive video and extended interviews by going to the KCRG-TV9 app on your smart TV. On behalf of Kai, Jan, Corey, and Hannah, thanks for watching. And as always, stay with your trusted local news and weather source, KCRG-TV9.